Dear seniors, welcome to this moment, this space, this opportunity to pause, reflect, and prepare for one of the most profound chapters of your life, the journey into your senior years. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Oprah, I'm not ready to think about that. I'm still young at heart. Or maybe you're sitting there thinking, senior life? That's so far away. But let me tell you something. Life has a way of moving faster than we expect. And if you don't prepare for it, you might find yourself looking back wondering, what if I had done things differently? So today I want to talk to you about how to prepare for the life of a senior, not just any life, a life filled with purpose, joy, fulfillment, and hope. A life that when you look back, you can say, I lived it well. And here's the thing. This isn't just about aging gracefully. It's about aging powerfully. It's about embracing the wisdom of your years and using it to create a legacy that outlives you. But before we dive in, I need you to do something for me. I need you to commit to staying with me until the very end of this speech. Why? Because what I'm about to share with you has the power to change your life. It's not just about preparing for senior life, it's about living your best life now so that when you get there, you're ready. So if you're ready to be inspired, motivated, and filled with hope, then let's begin. 0.1, the power of preparation. Let me ask you this. What if I told you that the life you're living right now at this very moment is not the culmination of your journey, but the foundation for something even greater? What if I told you that the power to shape your golden years lies not in chance, but in preparation? Yes, preparation. That word may sound simple, even mundane, but I'm here to tell you that it is the secret sauce, the golden thread, the master key to unlocking a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment in your senior years. Today, I want to talk to you about the power of preparation for the life of a senior. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Oprah, I've already lived most of my life. What's left to prepare for? Oh, my friends, let me tell you, this is not the end. This is not even the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you get to write the story you've always dreamed of. But here's the thing, every great story requires preparation. Let me take you back to my own life for a moment. When I was a young girl growing up in rural Mississippi, I had no idea what my future held. But even then, I was preparing. I didn't know it at the time, but every book I read, every speech I gave in church, every moment I spent dreaming of a life beyond my circumstances, it was all preparation. It was all building the foundation for what was to come. And when I got my first job in radio, I didn't just show up. I prepared. I studied the craft, I listened to the greats, and I practiced until my voice became an instrument of connection. When I transitioned to television, I didn't just wing it, I prepared. I learned the art of storytelling, the power of empathy, and the importance of authenticity. And when I eventually launched my own network, I didn't just leap blindly. I prepared. I surrounded myself with the right people, I learned from my mistakes, and I stayed true to my vision. Preparation, my friends, is not just about planning for the future. It's about living intentionally in the present. It's about recognizing that every decision you make, every habit you form, and every relationship you nurture is laying the groundwork for the life you want to live. Now, let me share a story that has stayed with me for years. I once met a woman named Sarah at one of my life class events. Sarah was 72 years old and she had just started her own nonprofit to help underprivileged children learn to read. When I asked her what inspired her to start this organization, she said something that took my breath away. She said, Oprah, I spent my entire career as a teacher, but I always felt like I could do more. When I retired, I realized that retirement wasn't the end of my purpose. It was the beginning of a new one. I spent a year preparing, researching, networking, and planning, and now I'm living the most fulfilling chapter of my life. Sarah's story is a testament to the power of preparation. She didn't just wake up one day and decide to start a nonprofit. She prepared. She took the time to align her passion with a plan, and now she's changing lives in ways she never imagined. So what does preparation look like for you? Maybe it's taking that class you've always wanted to take. Maybe it's reconnecting with an old friend or mentor. Maybe it's finally writing that book starting that business, or volunteering for a cause that's close to your heart. Whatever it is, preparation starts with a decision to live intentionally, to embrace the possibilities, and to believe that your best days are still ahead of you. But let me be clear, preparation is not just about doing, it's also about being. It's about cultivating a mindset of hope, resilience, and gratitude. It's about recognizing that every challenge you faced, every obstacle you've overcome, has prepared you for this moment. I'll never forget the words of Maya Angelou, my dear friend and mentor. She once told me, "Oprah, when you know better, you do better." Those words have stayed with me because they remind me that preparation is not just about action. It's about growth. It's about learning, evolving, and becoming the best version of yourself. And let me tell you something else. Preparation is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong journey. Just because you're in your senior years doesn't mean you stop preparing. In fact, this is the time to prepare with even more intention, more passion, and more purpose. Think about it. You have a wealth of experience, wisdom, and knowledge that the world needs. You have stories to tell, lessons to share, and love to give. But none of that happens by accident. It happens because you choose to prepare. You choose to show up, to lean in, and to make the most of every moment. Now, I know that preparation can feel overwhelming at times. You might be thinking, where do I even start? Let me offer you this. Start small. Start with one step, one goal, one dream. Maybe it's as simple as writing down your thoughts in a journal. Maybe it's as bold as signing up for that trip you've always wanted to take. Whatever it is, take that first step. Because once you do, you'll find that preparation becomes a habit, a way of life. And here's the beautiful thing about preparation. It's never wasted. Even if things don't go exactly as planned, the act of preparing itself is transformative. It builds confidence, clarity, and courage. It reminds you that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you are never too old to dream a new dream. So, my dear friends, as you stand on the threshold of this new chapter, I want you to embrace the power of preparation. I want you to believe in the possibilities that lie ahead. I want you to know that your life is not defined by your age, but by your willingness to prepare, to grow, and to shine. Remember, you are not just seniors, you are warriors, visionaries, and trailblazers. You are the authors of your own stories, and the best is yet to come. So prepare with hope, prepare with joy, and prepare with the unwavering belief that your life is a masterpiece in the making. To the journey of aging, a new perspective, I want to talk to you about the journey of aging. A journey that is not about losing, but about gaining, not about slowing down, but about rising up, not about the end, but about a glorious new beginning. You see, aging is a gift. It's a gift that not everyone gets to unwrap. Every day, every year, every wrinkle, and every gray hair is a testament to the life you've lived, the battles you fought, and the victories you've won. I've learned this truth not just from my own life, but from the countless people I've met along the way. Let me tell you about a woman I met years ago. She was 82 years old and she had just published her first book. When I asked her why she waited so long to pursue her dream, she smiled and said, "Oprah, I wasn't ready before. I needed to live long enough to have something worth saying." Isn't that powerful? She didn't see her age as a limitation. She saw it as an advantage. She had lived, loved, lost, and learned. And because of that, she had a story to tell. A story that only she could tell. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Oprah, aging is hard. My body doesn't work the way it used to. I've lost loved ones. I faced challenges I never expected. And you're right, aging can be hard. But here's the thing, it's all about perspective. I'll never forget the day I turned 50. I woke up that morning feeling a little uneasy. I thought, half a century, how did that happen? But then I realized something. I wasn't the same woman I was at 20, 30, or even 40. I was better, stronger, wiser, more confident, more at peace with who I was. That's the beauty of aging. It gives you the gift of perspective. You start to see life through a different lens. You start to understand what really matters and what doesn't. You start to let go of the things that no longer serve you and hold on to the things that do. But aging isn't just about looking back. It's also about looking forward. It's about finding new purpose, new passion, and new possibilities. I'll never forget my dear friend Maya Angelou. She was in her 80s when she said to me, "Oprah, I'm just getting started. And she meant it. She was writing, speaking, and inspiring people until the very end. She didn't let her age define her. She defined her age. And that's what I want for you. I want you to see this stage of life as an opportunity, a chance to reinvent yourself, to explore new interests, to give back in ways you never could before. Maybe it's mentoring a young person. Maybe it's starting a new hobby. Maybe it's finally writing that book or taking that trip you've always dreamed of. The point is, your purpose doesn't retire. It evolves. And as long as you're breathing, you have something to offer. One of the greatest blessings of aging is the relationships you build along the way, the friendships that deepen, the family bonds that grow stronger, the love that becomes more profound. I think about my own life, my relationship with Stedman, my friends, my spiritual sisters. They've all become more meaningful as I've gotten older. Why? Because I've learned to appreciate them in a way I never could when I was younger. I've learned to be present, to listen, to cherish the moments we have together. And then there are the new connections, the people you meet who inspire you, challenge you, and remind you that life is a beautiful, ever-unfolding journey. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. Aging requires courage. It requires you to face change, sometimes unexpected, sometimes unwelcome. But here's what I've learned. Change is not the enemy. Fear is. I've faced my share of fears over the years, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough, the fear of losing what I've worked so hard to build. But you know what? Every time I've faced those fears, I've come out stronger on the other side. And that's what I want for you. I want you to face this stage of life with courage, to embrace the changes, both inside and out, to see them not as losses, but as opportunities to grow. 3, the power of mindset, rewriting the narrative. No matter your age, no matter your past, no matter the challenges you faced, you have the power to change your story. And today we're going to talk about the most powerful tool you possess, your mindset. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like life has handed you a script you didn't audition for? Like the years have piled up and somehow you've lost control of the plot? Well, I'm here to tell you that the most beautiful chapters of your life can still be written, and it all starts with your mindset. Mindset is everything. It's the lens through which you see the world. It's the voice in your head that says, I can or I can't. It's the difference between seeing a setback as a failure or as a setup for a comeback. And here's the truth. Your mindset is not fixed. It's not carved in stone. It's malleable like clay, waiting for you to shape it into something extraordinary. I've seen the power of mindset transform lives, including my own. Growing up in rural Mississippi, I could have easily believed the narrative that was handed to me, that I was poor, that I was less than, that my dreams were too big for a little black girl from the South. But somewhere along the way, I decided to rewrite that story. I decided that my circumstances did not define me. I decided that I was worthy of more, that I was capable of more, and that decision changed everything. Now, let's talk about rewriting the narrative. As we age, society often tries to tell us what our story should look like. They say, you're too old to start something new. You've had your time. It's too late. But let me tell you something. It is never too late to rewrite your story. I'll never forget a woman I met years ago during one of my tours. She was 78 years old, and she had just published her first book. When I asked her what took her so long, she said, Oprah, I spent most of my life believing I wasn't good enough, that my voice didn't matter. But one day I realized that if I didn't tell my story, no one else would. That woman rewrote her narrative at 78. She decided that her age was not a limitation, but a badge of honor. She decided that her life experiences were not a burden, but a treasure trove of wisdom. And she decided that her story was worth telling. What about you? What story have you been telling yourself? Is it one of limitation or possibility? Is it one of regret or redemption? Is it one of I'm too old or I'm just getting started? The stories we tell ourselves shape our reality. If you tell yourself that life is over at a certain age, then it will be. But if you tell yourself that every day is a new opportunity to learn, to grow, to love, then that will be your reality. I'll give you another example. There was a man I met named John. John had spent his entire career in a job he didn't love, waiting for the day he could retire. But when retirement finally came, he felt lost. He felt like he had no purpose. One day, his granddaughter asked him to teach her how to paint. John had never painted before, but he decided to give it a try, and guess what? He discovered a passion he never knew he had. At 70 years old, John became an artist. He started selling his paintings and even held his first gallery show at 75. John rewrote his narrative. He went from, "I'm just waiting for life to be over," to, "I'm just getting started." Purpose is the fuel that keeps us going. It's the reason we get out of bed in the morning. And here's the beautiful thing. Purpose doesn't retire. Purpose doesn't have an expiration date. When I turned 50, I remember thinking, what's next for me? I've achieved so much, but I know there's more. And that's when I decided to start OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network. People thought I was crazy. They said, "Oprah, you've already done it all. Why start something new now?" But I knew that my purpose wasn't just about what I had already done. It was about what I could still do. And that's the mindset I want you to embrace. Your purpose doesn't end when you retire. Your purpose evolves. Maybe it's mentoring the next generation. Maybe it's starting a new hobby. Maybe it's simply sharing your wisdom with those around you. Whatever it is, don't let anyone tell you that it's too late. I want to leave you with this message of hope. Life is not a straight line. It's a series of twists and turns, ups and downs. But no matter where you are in your journey, you have the power to change your story. You are not defined by your age. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by the choices you make today. So choose to believe in yourself. Choose to embrace the power of your mindset. Choose to rewrite your narrative for the importance of lifelong learning. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine a tree, a mighty oak standing tall, its roots deep and strong. That tree has weathered storms, survived droughts, and yet it continues to grow. It doesn't stop because it's old. It doesn't stop because it's been through a lot. It grows because that's what it was created to do. And you, my friends, are no different. You were created to grow, to learn, to evolve. No matter how many years you've lived, let me ask you this. What if I told you that the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop truly living? What if I told you that every new skill you acquire, every book you read, every conversation you have is a step toward a more vibrant, more fulfilling life? Would you believe me? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's true. Lifelong learning is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the key to staying relevant, staying engaged, and staying alive in the most profound sense of the word. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Oprah, I'm too old to learn something new. Or, Oprah, I've already lived a full life. What more is there for me to discover? Let me stop you right there. I've had the privilege of meeting some of the most extraordinary people on this planet, and let me tell you something. Age has never been a barrier to greatness. In fact, some of the most inspiring stories I've encountered have come from people who decided to embrace learning later in life. Take, for example, my dear friend Viola Davis. Viola didn't achieve her breakthrough role until her 40th. She could have said, "It's too late for me." But instead, she kept learning, kept honing her craft, and now she's one of the most celebrated actresses of our time. Or consider Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken. He didn't start his now iconic business until he was in his 60s. He didn't let age define him. Instead, he let his curiosity and determination lead the way. And then there's my own story. When I started the Oprah Winfrey Show, I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know everything about television, about interviewing, about building a brand, but I was willing to learn. I was willing to ask questions, to make mistakes, and to grow. And that willingness to learn has carried me through every phase of my life, from hosting a talk show to launching a network, to creating a book club that has inspired millions to read and learn alongside me. But let's bring this closer to home. Let's talk about you. Maybe you've retired from your job. Maybe your children are grown and your days look different than they used to. But let me tell you something. This is not the end of your story. This is a new chapter, and it's filled with possibilities. Learning doesn't have to mean going back to school or getting a degree. It can be as simple as picking up a new hobby, exploring a subject you've always been curious about, or even learning how to use technology to stay connected with loved ones. I'll never forget the time I met a woman named Ethel. Ethel was 82 years old when she decided to learn how to use a computer. She told me, "Oprah, I don't want to be left behind. I want to email my grandchildren. I want to see their pictures on Facebook." And you know what? She did it. It wasn't easy at first, but she kept at it, and now she's not just keeping up with her family, she's taking online courses, joining virtual book clubs, and even starting her own blog. Ethel is proof that it's never too late to learn, to grow, to thrive. And that's what I want for each and every one of you. I want you to thrive. I want you to wake up every morning with a sense of purpose, with a hunger to discover something new. Because here's the truth. Lifelong learning is not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about staying curious, staying engaged, and staying connected to the world around you. It's about proving to yourself and to the world that you are never too old to dream, to create, to contribute. Now, I know that change can be scary. Stepping into the unknown can feel intimidating, especially when you've spent decades in a routine. But let me remind you of something. You've already survived 100% of your hardest days. You've already overcome challenges that you once thought were impossible. And if you can do that, you can certainly learn something new. You can certainly take that first step toward a more fulfilling, more enriching life. So what will that first step look like for you? Maybe it's signing up for a class at your local community center. Maybe it's picking up a book on a topic you've always been curious about. Maybe it's learning how to paint or play an instrument or even speak a new language. Whatever it is, I want you to commit to it. And that's what I want for each and every one of you. I want you to thrive. I want you to wake up every morning with a sense of purpose, with a hunger to discover something new. Because here's the truth. Lifelong learning is not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about staying curious, staying engaged, and staying connected to the world around you. It's about proving to yourself and to the world that you are never too old to dream, to create, to contribute. Now, I know that change can be scary. Stepping into the unknown can feel intimidating, especially when you've spent decades in a routine. But let me remind you of something. You've already survived 100% of your hardest days. You've already overcome challenges that you once thought were impossible. And if you can do that, you can certainly learn something new. You can certainly take that first step toward a more fulfilling, more enriching life. So what will that first step look like for you? Maybe it's signing up for a class at your local community center. Maybe it's picking up a book on a topic you've always been curious about. Maybe it's learning how to paint or play an instrument or even speak a new language. Whatever it is, I want you to commit to it. I want you to embrace the journey, knowing that every step you take is a step toward a brighter, more vibrant future. And let me leave you with this final thought. The world needs your wisdom. The world needs your experience, but the world also needs your willingness to grow, to adapt, to learn. Because when you commit to lifelong learning, you're not just enriching your own life. You're inspiring those around you. You're showing your children, your grandchildren, and your community that age is not a barrier to greatness. You're proving that life is a never-ending journey of discovery and that every day is an opportunity to become the best version of yourself. So my dear friends, I challenge you, don't let another day go by without taking that first step. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. You have so much to offer, so much to learn, and so much to live for. The world is waiting for you, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what you'll do next. 5 of it, the role of gratitude, finding joy in the everyday, something so simple yet so profound that it can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. It's not a secret formula, it's not a miracle pill, and it's not something you have to search for in far-off places. It's already within you. It's gratitude now. I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. Yes, right now, close them. And I want you to think about one thing, just one thing that you're grateful for today. Could be the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of a loved one's voice, or even the fact that you woke up this morning with breath in your lungs. Got it? Hold on to that thought. because that, my friends, is where joy begins. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a way of life. And for those of you in the golden years of life, it's a superpower. It's the lens through which you can see the world anew, even when the world feels like it's moving too fast or leaving you behind. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you grounded and the wings that help you soar. Let me tell you something. I've lived a life full of highs and lows. I've sat in rooms with kings and queens. And I've also sat in rooms with people who had nothing but the clothes on their back. And you know what I've learned? The happiest people I've ever met weren't the ones with the most money, the biggest houses, or the fanciest titles. They were the ones who had learned to find joy in the everyday. They were the ones who practiced gratitude like it was their job. I remember a woman I met years ago during one of my shows. She was in her 80s and she had lived through more hardship than most of us could imagine. She had lost her husband, her home, and even her health at one point. But when she walked onto that stage, she radiated joy. I asked her, how do you do it? How do you stay so positive after everything you've been through? And she said, Oprah, every morning I wake up and I say thank you. Thank you for another day. Thank you for the birds outside my window. Thank you for the kind neighbor who brings me soup. Thank you for the memories of my husband that make me smile. Gratitude is my compass, and it always leads me back to joy. That woman changed my life. She reminded me that no matter what we're going through, there is always something to be grateful for. And when we focus on those things, we open the door to joy. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Oprah, it's easy for you to say. You've had success, you've had opportunities, but what about me? What about the aches and pains, the loneliness? Let me tell you something. Your best days are not behind you. They're right here, right now, because every day you wake up is a new opportunity to find joy, to make a difference, to be grateful. I want to share a story from my own life. When I was a little girl growing up in rural Mississippi, life was not easy. We didn't have much money, and there were times when we didn't even know where our next meal was coming from. But my grandmother, who raised me, taught me the power of gratitude. She would say, Oprah, count your blessings. Even if it's just one, count it. And so I did. I was grateful for the chickens in the yard, for the books I could read, for the love of my grandmother. And that gratitude carried me through. It gave me hope. It gave me strength. It gave me the courage to dream big. And here's the thing. Gratitude doesn't just change how you feel. It changes how you see the world. It shifts your perspective. It helps you realize that even in the toughest times, there is beauty to be found, a sunrise, a kind word, a moment of laughter. These are the things that make life worth living. For seniors, gratitude can be especially powerful. It's easy to focus on what's been lost, youth, mobility, loved ones, but gratitude helps you focus on what's still here. The wisdom you've gained over the years, the love you've shared, the legacy you're creating. Every wrinkle on your face tells a story, and every story is a reason to be grateful. I want to challenge you today to start a gratitude practice. Every night before you go to bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be big or small. Maybe it's the phone call from a grandchild, the taste of your favorite tea, or the way the light shines through your window in the afternoon. Write them down, say them out loud, let them fill your heart. And here's the magic. The more you practice gratitude, the more you'll start to notice the little things, the way the leaves rustle in the wind, the smile from a stranger, the feeling of a warm blanket on a cold night. These are the moments that make life beautiful. These are the moments that bring joy. I want to leave you with this thought. Gratitude is not just a reaction, it's a choice. It's a choice to focus on the good, even when life feels hard. It's a choice to find joy in the everyday, even when the days feel long. And it's a choice to live with purpose, to know that your life, your story matters. So my dear friends, as you leave here now to continue the part 2 of this speech tomorrow, I want you to carry this with you. You are not defined by your age, your circumstances, or your past. You are defined by the love in your heart, the gratitude in your soul, and the joy you choose to find in every single day. Thank you. And remember, the best is yet to come.